Welcome to Metatech Podcast, where we discuss with thought leaders in the Web3 about new technologies, Metaverse, the blockchain, and the future of the internet. Founded by Dora Cohen and hosted by Wendy Lopez.
GM Metatech. Everyone, how's everyone? Hello, Sean. I have a special guest today. How are you, Sean from and Crypto? How are you today?
Hi, Wendy. Thanks so much for having me. I'm great.
It's been a while since we had a conversation online. I'm so glad to have you here. How is everything going in your life?
It's going great. It's going great. Just pushing on with the podcast and just thinking of fun, clever ways to educate people on all this stuff I'm getting into.
I remember like a long time ago how like you came from like just being in a Facebook group sharing about comics, and now you have one of the most successful podcasts in the NFT and comic space. So I would like to talk about a little bit about that and more. Are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what about if we start from the beginning? What is comics and crypto?
Yeah, so Comics and Crypto is a podcast that focuses on bridging the physical and digital space. We talk about digital collectibles and physical collectibles, why we believe in each one, but also ways of why they're connected. And, I have to say, Wendy, it's because of you that we really got kickstarted this podcast. I mean, I just download thinking about the Facebook group page. That was so cool. That was so cool being a part of that and just expressing my ideas about the space and how significant some of the IP that VV was dropping, like Spider-Man, for example. And a lot of people didn't really understand the significance of Spider-Man. And I was able to help people understand that. And that's what inspired us to kickstart the podcast. And you're such a huge part of that journey. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, Wendy. Like, thank you. You're such a pivotal part of this.
Thank you, Sean. I remember back in the days, I was just lost because I have never been a collector. I have never read like a comic in my life. And I remember asking you, okay, what is good? What is not good? And you just took the time to explain me. I think it was like a live stream in Instagram or something like that. And it was just great. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
It was such a great space. We have to do another one actually after the years.
I love that.
But now the question is, okay, you start to share about content about the comics and the value of some collectibles that were dropped on BB. But tell me the story about the moment that you and the guys said, we are going to start a podcast about this. I would like to know since the beginning.
Yeah. So I've known Kevin Loader. So it's myself, Kevin Loader, and Spencer Vogel. Those are we're all co-hosts of the Comics and Crypto podcast. And I've known Kevin Loader for over 10 years, 15 years. Ooh. We're producing partners and filmmakers out in the Bay Area. And I met Spencer backpacking in Europe in 2017 or 2018. And we met in Prague. And yeah, I remember meeting him and thinking, this dude's awesome. Spencer's like 7 or 8 years younger than me. So I'm like, this dude is so cool. We're going to definitely be friends. And we were. I visited him in Boston. He visited me out in San Francisco. And we stayed really close. And he started telling me about crypto and NFTs. And at first, I was just really kind of confused by all of it. And he had me invest in some stuff back in 2018. And then the bull run came in 2020 and 2021. And it took off a little bit. And I was like, yo, okay, Spencer, what's up with this collectible stuff? So this crypto stuff. And then he started telling me about NFTs. And I was getting heavily involved in investing in comic books at the time. And that was like like 2 or 3 years into it at that point, investing heavy. And I told him I wanted to teach him about investing in comic books. He was teaching me about NFTs. So we're exchanging information about this. And then we actually went on a road trip together during the pandemic. And myself, Spencer, and Kevin went on a road trip to Yellowstone National Park. And that's actually, that was during the Marvel drop, the Spider-Man drop. And that's when I realized pretty quickly that a lot of people in the community didn't really understand the significance of that drop at the time. Some people did, but a lot of people really didn't. And I was trying to help people understand. And that's what me, Spencer, and Kevin started talking to each other about it. I'm like, guys, why don't we start a podcast? Like, I know comics, and Spencer knows crypto, and Kevin, he doesn't really know shit, but he can help guide the journey of of this collectible journey. And sure enough, we that's how we came up with the Comics Crypto podcast. But it's kind of the running joke because Kevin actually knows a lot, and he's incredibly knowledgeable, especially in pop culture and film, and being a really talented filmmaker himself. But yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny to look back.
That is the interesting thing about this, that the power of friendship, right?
Yeah,
And then,
definitely.
and then to decide to begin this journey, because it has been almost 2 years. When was
Yeah,
the first episode? Like in September 2021?
2 years in August. 2 years in August.
Are you going to celebrate in some way? Some merch?
Yeah, yeah. We're definitely talking about some ideas, but mostly giveaways. I'm trying to think of some fun giveaways to do. I have some fun ideas lined up for sure.
Wow, this is incredible because it has been such a beautiful journey, because I have seen it since the beginning. And the question is now, how have you seen the how have you seen the space evolve since the beginning? Is the same? It's not the same. People understand more. Tell me a little bit more about that.
One of the most important things for us is that we help people understand the collectible space, but we want to help them just discover their own voice as an investor. If they're just trying to collect, you don't really need much advice in telling people what you want to own, right? Because you're a collector, you just collect what you love. But if you're collecting, or if you're investing in the collectible space, it's important that you find your own voice as an investor. And over the past year, we've definitely seen tremendous progress, and a lot of people in the community and multiple communities understand significance of, especially in the comic book industry, people would know where to go to find information. They're doing their own research, and that's what's really exciting for us. Because at the end of the day, I just want them to make decisions and be excited about their decision because of that reason.
The question is now, we know that there are more projects about collectibles like Hero, like, the
Back owls and
mad cows, Paul, yeah, mad cows.
um,
And how is the space for you guys? Well, how these projects have helped you to grow as comics and crypto? Do you focus only on BB, or do you cover also other projects? Tell me a little bit more about that.
yeah, we definitely cover multiple projects and multiple companies. But I would say the ones that we are really heavily tied into, of course, is BB. And they're dropping all Marvel IP and Disney IP and the comic books, but also Palm NFT, because they're a really cool company and they have a tremendous leadership. I don't know, Wendy, if you know this, but the co-owner of Palm NFT is David Heyman, who's the biggest producer for Warner Brothers, who produced all the Harry Potter films.
I did not. What?
Yeah. He's the co-owner of Palm NFT, him and his brother. So that's why it's one of the many reasons why I'm very bullish. But their leadership team is amazing. Matt Mason, who is the former chief content officer of Palm, amazing guy, and also they're just doing a phenomenal job. I mean, the Back Cal project has been really a blessing to experience. We've seen incredible progress, and their comic books, man, I love the way that they're dropping their comic books, and the comic books that they're dropping have been fantastic. And it's getting people really excited about the industry, and being able to access these instantly worldwide is a huge deal.
How has been the challenges? What has been like the biggest challenge that you guys have faced in all this bear market and the bull market, and trying to bridge the physical with the digital collectible world? What has been the biggest challenge?
Well, I'll say from the physical side, from the physical collector side, who aren't used to digital collectibles or NFTs, it's tough when they're not interested in getting involved. But not only not interested, they're willing to say certain things that aren't true, and they have little understanding or done little research about the space. Especially like the cringe comparison of NFTs are Beanie Babies. Like, come on, I was just like, yeah, it's hard to take it seriously when you make people make comments like that. And very smart, educated people have done that, and that's what shocks me. And they're going to look foolish, in my opinion, at least, over the next 5 to 10 years, because I think the idea of digital ownership is only going to become more important over time.
So, would you say that closed minded has made it difficult for you guys? Have you had any backlash Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like anything, especially for comic books, when they started grading comic books, the comic collectors were so upset by it, and now it's become a standard. Grading comic books has become a standard, and there's still a lot of people who don't enjoy that, but there are a lot of people who do, and there's a lot of companies that have been grown that have been built by grading comics. Um, but now you're starting to see that industry change, and you're starting to see that industry expand. You're starting to see graded video games, graded VHS tapes, like I have behind me. The grading industry is growing, and I think the digital collectible industry is also going to grow in a big way, especially because the IP is connected for a lot of the collectibles like Vivi and Palm NFT, but also just the accessibility, being able to buy these things instantly around the world and enjoy them as you would, actually sometimes even more than you would a graded comic book, because I can't take these out of my case, right? There it is, like this one. I can't take it out of my case, enjoy it. I just have to enjoy it like it's a painting. But the comics on Palm, I can enjoy, I can read, and hopefully in the future I can read them in AR with my AR glasses. Like, that's a really big deal because, Wendy, I'm not sure if you know this, but I know there's a few stories about how people have bought collectibles in different parts of the world, and they've been sent internationally. And customs, like U.S. Customs, did this once. They destroyed a graded Pokemon video game that was worth $5,000, and they destroyed it. They just broke it apart, and they put it back in the box and sent it to the owner. Can you believe that? But that's the kind of things. It's a barrier to entry. I mean, people do not want to get involved in that, especially around the world. But these digital collectibles, people will get excited about. They are getting excited about it, but they will continue to get excited about it. And I think the collectible space is going to grow in a big way because of it.
What excites you the most about the future with a digital collectible? Because you just said about like how this actually solves some of the in real life problems, right? But what excites you the most about the space overall?
Yeah, I love over the past year and a half the excitement that the digital collectibles has created with new collectors, because it's not like people are buying digital collectibles and that's it. They just focus on digital. They're excited about collecting. It's kickstarted their collecting journey, and now they're buying physical. They're going to buy physical comic books. Now they're buying video games and VHS tapes. We're getting, tagged tweets about all this stuff, and it's been really fun to see that excitement about the things that they grew up with, that they loved, is now becoming part of their collection. And I just think it's going to become more significant over time, and people are going to love it and enjoy it even more.
What do you believe about the price entry for these collectibles comparing with the PSP or the generative collections on OpenSea? Do you believe that this kind of projects gives more opportunity to like normal people, not just whales? What is your opinion
Totally.
on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially right now during this bear market, you're seeing a very reasonable level of entry for a lot of these collectibles, especially on Vivi. There are some very significant comics that you can get for under $10. So people of people anywhere around the world and of all types of budgets can get involved, which is another really big reason why I'm very excited about this collectible space.
What about kids? What do you
Yeah,
think about kids joining into this space?
I mean,
In this project, do you think that it's gonna be harder to explain them or not?
so Vivi recently dropped a Sesame Street NFT, and people went crazy over it, in not a good way. People were really upset. They're like, Sesame Street, how dare you? How dare you get involved in the space? But that JPEG thing. Come on, guys. Like, they didn't understand what it was or what it represented or how you can interact with it. And I felt like that was a real shame. So my family, they have a at-home daycare. So I went over there and I brought my phone, of course, and I wanted to show the kids this Sesame Street Cookie Monster NFT that you can interact with in AR. So I did that, and they loved it. They lost their minds. They are having so much fun playing with it. I gave them my phone, just let them run around with it. They're having a blast. And then I shot a video kind of highlighting them having a good time with the Cookie Monster collectible. And I really hope Sesame Street saw that, because I think there was a lot of negativity going around about it, and they aren't seeing the positive, because sometimes the loudest people with the biggest megaphones on Twitter are the ones with negative voices, unfortunately.
this is like the problem with the space, no? Like the most horrible voices are the most louder one, right? And
Right,
often we
exactly.
believe in the future, like we are shut down because it's better to put attention to negativity than to into this. Like we are bringing like a new world to kids, to the Gen Z, to the alphas, and it's like you don't even need anything in your home. You just need your phone, and that's about it. And it's
That's it.
incredible, huh? What other kind of collectibles are you excited the most
Currently on the app?
in general? Like I know that you have behind you like the BHS is the name.
Oh, yeah.
Like what
Yeah, so
type of collectibles are you like excited about to join into the Web3 space?
well, I'm curious at how possibly the VHS market get involved, but this has been a lot of fun going on this journey, getting involved in the sealed VHS, the video game market, Zelda right there. But are you asking like what current collectibles that I'm excited about? Or
That, for example, like those type of like for example, I'm excited about books into the digital space. That is
yeah.
that type of collectibles. But what about those that are that we don't have already? For example, I don't know, like the cards of the goals into the NFT space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm actually really excited to see more wearables.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very similar to what we're seeing with Artifact Studios. They are absolutely crushing it. And they're bought out by Nike about 6 to 12 months ago. Shortly after they dropped their NFT project, Clone X. And what they've been doing is nothing short of just, it's so impressive. And I know once AR glasses drop and becomes compatible, it's going to change a lot of people's perspective on on the idea of digital ownership.
What what is your biggest concern now? Like we have said the good things, but what is your biggest concern in this space, or you don't have any?
Oh no, there's definitely concerns. I think there's a lot of things on the current applications on different companies that I'd love to see progress. You know, the opportunities to be able to trade and make offers. It's small stuff, but it's all being worked out. I mean, all this technology is so new, and there's so many security issues that have to be worked out, especially when you're working with big companies like Disney. It's there's so many problems that people just don't understand right now, but they will over time. But yeah, there's definitely some concerns. I hope that licensors understand too. They should never drop the same collectible. Like if you drop a certain comic book, they shouldn't drop that one again. Certain collectibles, like let's say, like yeah, that makes sense.
It's like I would like to know also how did you see the space like in 10 years? What what are you thinking about that?
I think there's a lot of factors that come into play. I think technology is definitely one of them. I'm excited to see where the technology goes over the next 5 to 10 years, because that's going to we're going to really lean on that for people to understand what all this is about. Because right now, when I explain something, when I explain like BB, for example, to people, they're excited about it, like that's cool, but like, why do I want to own it? The only way to start buying it and get involved, and like especially if your collection is starting to go up in value, you start to fall in love with your collection. So a lot of people got started. But like, why do you really need to own it? I think that's when it becomes part of your life, your everyday life, especially. I think that's when people start to understand it more. When I can put up these paintings on my wall, you know, when I can start to interact with my collectibles, when my kids can start interacting with my collectibles, I think it's a really big deal.
Do you believe that at some point in our houses you're gonna have like these big frames that will show off NFTs?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're going to have probably, paintings on the walls that aren't there that are going to be NFTs. You're going to see, I mean, even during the holidays, being able to decorate your house with digital collectibles, Halloween, have Halloween parties, create haunted houses. Um, you're going to see people walk around with pets that aren't really there. I think that's going to be a big part of augmented reality as well. Whether it's a puppy or a dragon, I don't know. Time will tell, but I think that's really going to enhance the experience. And I think what's really special too is that even an augmented reality dog, I mean, yeah, it's not really there, but if you can interact with it and it can grow with you, it's still going to become a very emotional part of your journey.
What about artificial AI?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think about the combination between NFTs and artificial intelligence? How do you?
I mean, there's so many the capabilities. I'm just so impressed where AI has come in such a short period of time, at least publicly. Who knows what's been going on behind the curtains, but publicly, it's grown so fast in such a short period of time. I can't keep up with it. I mean, I'm just now comfortable using ChatGPT, but but it's still. I mean, it's growing so fast every day. I mean, there's so many different mediums that you can use with AI. But I'm really especially excited to see how the software is going to be implemented into AR technology, especially the glasses. And a lot of people aren't really thinking about right now. Well, I guess they are, but sound and audio in AR is going to be a really big deal. Being able to have conversations with people with different languages, and you can hear their voice. You know, for example, I'm speaking to you in Spanish, and you hear my voice in Spanish. Yeah, yeah, and then fortunately, you don't have to do the English translation. You got that down, but not long.
Maya, please.
Yeah.
That would be great, actually. My brain is all the time like, how do I say this? How do I say this? Okay, so we don't take that much time from you because I know that you're a busy person, but I do want to ask you, what is the future for you and comics and crypto? How do you see yourselves in the next year? It has been 2 years. How do you see yourself with the project in 1 year and in 5 years? What do you want to do, guys?
I want us to be one of the biggest. I really want us to be one of the biggest podcasts that helps educate people on the collectible space, not just the physical and digital, but both, and also help people understand the connection between the two. Because I mean, as you can see back here, I am crazy, crazy bullish on the physical space, and I'm so excited about the digital. And I think there's a really special connection between the two, and it's only going to become more significant over time. So that's what I would love to see in the next year to 5 years, to see us grow with a lot of these new industries, and just help people as many people as we can.
What would you say to someone that is new and is just listening to you about joining into the NFT space and the Web3 space, that they are already into into the collectibles, but in real life? What would you tell them about how to join, like what to do, what are the next steps, how to be careful? What would you say?
Well, I think with any market, you always have to make sure to set a budget aside. And people get very excited, but you don't ever want to overextend yourself, because that puts yourself in a very uncomfortable situation. And also it can force you to grow a lot of resentment towards your collection, which has like a negative effect, right? And that's not what you want. You want to be in a position where you can hold on to something that you believe in. But level of entry is also very important. A lot of the things I'm involved in are new, so they're speculative. But I will say that, when you look at what are the big corporations getting involved in, there's probably something special there. So, like these grading companies, they keep popping up, and they're big grading companies. And they're expanding and growing into different markets for that reason. So it makes me excited about the future of that market. But that being said, level of entry is very, very important. And be patient. Be patient. Sometimes it's important just to have liquidity on standby and just watch the market. Watch the market. I know sometimes you feel like there's once in a lifetime opportunities, and sometimes there are, but you have to evaluate the situation to really understand what it is you're investing in. Is this decision 100% sound? If not, you've got to keep asking yourself questions. You've got to keep asking yourself questions, because if you don't have, if you keep asking yourself questions and you don't have answers, there's probably a problem.
Thank you, Sean, for taking the time to join me into the Metatech Podcast. Any final thoughts that you would like to share about collectibles, about comics and crypto, or anything like that?
Yeah, we're just very excited about the future of the collectibles market. I think the collectibles market is only going to grow over time, especially with the help of the digital side. Because, again, you may not like digital collectibles, but I'm telling you firsthand that I've seen this community grow because of the digital space, and they're buying physicals now. I was at New York Comic Con last year, and someone came up to me. He's like, "Sean, I am 55 years old, and I've never bought a comic book in my life, and I have over $100,000 worth of physical comic books now, physical grails, and it's all because of Vivi. It's all because of the digital collectible space." So, by putting down a new medium like this, you're alienating an entirely new audience of collectors and potentially customers. So don't do that. Just be curious, not judgmental.
Thank you so much, Sean. Sorry for the noise in my back.
Oh, that's great. Please help me, Wendy.
Mexico is like the most noisy place ever. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And stay tuned for more and more info about comics and crypto in the description. So I'll see you all soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Metatech. Please feel free to subscribe and share. We'll catch you in the next episode.